Today, I'm going to go over in detail how to do the blessings of the energy centers. Now, to this day, Dr. Joe has 10 of the blessing of the energy centers meditations on his website. Now, you may not have access to all of them. I think you only have access to 1 through 5, perhaps. And then once you go to an advanced retreat, then you have access to all of them all the way up to 10. But all of them pretty much do kind of the same thing in them. They go through the different energy centers, and he wants you to feel them and tune in the energy and different things like that. There's different variations where he has like the symbols. Some of them he has the breath in them, going into the blackness, opening up your heart. But for the most part, they're all about the same. I think the reason he has 10 of them is because it is very, I guess, vital, important that you do these blessings of the energy centers. I've been doing them for several days in a row, and before now I was doing them about every other day, but now I'm starting to realize the importance of doing them. There's a lot of emotions and problems that are attached with each of the energy centers, and as you do the blessings of the energy centers, it can help to release all of those energies and can actually heal you of different problems that you have going on in your life. I'll go over those in just a minute, but first I want to go over the location. Now, I know when I went to my first event, I was still kind of struggling with the location. Some of you may know it, but just bear with me while I go over them. The first energy center is going to be, I guess you could say, he calls it your perineum. It's between your legs, and it's controlling your legs and everything that basically is from that lower portion down. That's your first energy center. So just you can imagine it somewhere down in this area, and that's where you'll feel it. The second energy center, you need to find your belly button. Here's mine right here. Go maybe about an inch or two below that. That's going to be your second energy center right there. Okay. And your third energy center is kind of right below your rib cage. So it's right about here, right in the middle here. That's your third energy center. Your fourth energy center, remember, is your heart. So that's going to be just right here in the middle of your chest. Your fifth energy center is your throat, right here. You can really kind of focus anywhere in this area. You do not have to get these exact. Just think of the general area and it'll be okay. Like if you're thinking of your belly button and it's not quite right, it's okay. Just think of that general area, okay? So your throat's in here. Your sixth energy center is what's called your third eye. It's pretty much square between your eyes, and it's connected to your pituitary and your pineal gland, which goes right through the back of your head. Your seventh energy center, some people are a little confused on this. For me, I just do it right here on the top of my head, right at the crown. And then your eighth energy center, he doesn't do that one in all of them, but your eighth energy center is, I think, maybe 9 to 12 inches above your head. You can't quite see it, but it's going to be above your head. Anywhere above your head, just imagine that, and that's your eighth energy center. Okay, so now, to go over a little bit about what emotions are linked to the different energy centers, because this can kind of help motivate you to want to focus on them. Now, when I went to the last event, he was talking about you don't even have to do his blessings of the energy centers. He was saying, you know, if you want to go home and just focus on the first energy center a whole bunch, and maybe move on to the second and do the first 3 and work on them however long you want. I know I was struggling with my second energy center. I finally released that at my last event because I couldn't really feel it. And I had a lot of things that were healed in me after releasing that second one. But I was kind of working on just like focusing on that, just laying in bed at night and just kind of focusing on that energy center, kind of thinking about what he's talking about, tuning in and stuff, and really focusing more on energy center. So if you kind of think you need more work, he steps you through each one. But if you think you need more work, maybe just play some meditation music or something and just kind of do your own thing and focus on that particular energy center to help relieve what problem you may have linked to that energy center. So I have a graphic here, and it shows the different energy centers there. So we have the root. Now the root is linked to survival, security. You can feel anxiousness. This is what grounds you, because remember, this is like your legs and your sex organs. Your next one up is your sacral, and this is your center of creativity, sexuality. Some feelings you can feel in this are loneliness and guilt. And this is connected to any organs that are in that general area right in here. It could be your kidney, your spleen, your women, your ovaries, sex organs, different things like that. Your next one is your third energy center, which they call your solar. This one deals with your self-esteem, your self-confidence. It's also a power center where you can feel shame or anger. A lot of men, I think, hold a lot in this center because it's just a lot of anger and control in that center. And this one is linked to your liver, small intestines, your digestion, stomach. So if you're having any kind of issues in that area with your liver or your stomach or intestines. Now your second center, I believe, is linked more to your large intestines. And your third center is linked to your small intestines. So if you have phantom pains or if you have any issues with any of those organs in those particular areas, that's a center that you need to work on. Then next is your heart. Obviously, it's for love. It's also connection with others. It can have feelings and emotions like jealousy, bitterness, grief, forgiveness. That's a big one in this area. Different organs that are related is your circulatory system. So maybe if you have things of the blood, immune, if you have allergies or something, maybe that's a good center. Your lymph. And then next is your throat. Your throat is obviously your communication. So if you have trouble expressing yourself or shyness, or maybe if you're overbearing or overpowering, you talk a whole bunch, you don't give people time to talk. It can be a self-expression, truth, if maybe you lie, Dr. Joe says that a lot. He's like, oh, my fifth energy center is hurting me. And he's like, well, start telling the truth. Those are some of the organs connected to that are your thyroid. It's also respiratory. I, after the last event, lost my voice. Don't know why. It's still kind of coming back a little bit. And I guess I just felt like I was never able to speak a lot. So my second and my fifth center had a lot of releasing at my last event. And something's going on with it. But I'm happy, whatever's going on, because I feel great. So your next one, sixth center, your third eye. That is your beliefs, imagination, your intuition, obviously, wisdom. If you have bad nightmares, this could be a problem in this center. It's your sixth sense. You sense things wrong. This is linked to your nervous system, your eyes, but also your mind. Then your seventh center, they call that your crown. It's your spirituality. Sometimes you think about what's the meaning of your life. If your ego's in control, you don't have that spirituality, so you need to work on it that way. It's the center of your universal self. So any problems in your upper head, I guess if you have tumors or anything up there, I don't know what could be going on up here, but it's also linked to your upper spine. So if you have any kind of issues in there. So that's the different centers and what can be linked to that. And so that can help you while you're doing the blessing in the energy centers. If you're having trouble feeling a center, that could be the reason why, because you have stuck energy in there. So now, imagining and feeling them. I did make a video already about trying to imagine and feeling them. You can watch that video, or I'll discuss it just a little bit here. So now he goes through each center, and when he talks about feeling them, I'll just focus, I guess, on the second center right here, so you can kind of see right here. He wants you to find it and feel it. So you can imagine like a knot or pressure. You can even try to like suck in or something on there just to kind of feel it. You really just need to put your intention into whatever center he's speaking on. And that's all that it really takes, is putting that intention there. You don't have to physically feel it. Over time, the more you do this, you will feel it. So, I try to imagine a ball, maybe like a beach ball or like a ball of light. You can imagine like some people talk about flower petals opening up or a vortex of energy. Sometimes you can imagine like a hula hoop or something kind of going around you when you're trying to, he says, all around you. So you can imagine that energy around you, because it's not two-dimensional. But if that helps you at first to imagine it this way, it's more kind of three-dimensional. Think of your aura that's around your body. That's really when you have these, if you have a weaker part of your aura, it's going to be weak closer to whatever center is weak. So just imagine all of these kind of making your whole aura. And so you can imagine it kind of coming out maybe a little bit like that. So now whenever he says to feel it, and then he says, oftentimes he says tune into the energy of that center. That one I struggled with a little bit. I was like, well, what do you mean tune into the energy? I just kind of felt like, okay, I'll put some energy, move some energy towards that. That's something you can do. I still am able to do this. I do it different ways, kind of different every time. So I imagine maybe some energy kind of from my whole body kind of going down to that center. I've also tried to tune into energy in the universe. So supposedly, I guess each of your energy centers can tune into the frequency of the second center. Let's say everybody in the whole world should be tuned into a specific frequency for the second center. And so that's the frequency that you're trying to tune into, is the second center energy. And so it's kind of like when you're tuning into energies in the universe, I try to kind of tune into like some kind of frequency out there shaking around in the universe and try to imagine it coming to my body. At the last few events I've been to, he's done this body electric where he talks about a vortex of energy. I always imagine like waves of energy kind of coming towards that center and feeding it, but that vortex of energy really helps me. So just imagine like a tornado, and it's like, and it comes right to that center. And sometimes I even kind of shake because it's like, I can imagine it, and it kind of like hits me and I'm like, whoa. And then sometimes I kind of shake, or I feel like tingles kind of going through my body, or waves of energy going through my body. If you don't feel that at first, that's fine. But the more you do it, you will start to kind of feel kind of those tingles and stuff going through your body as you're kind of doing that. Now, also tuning in, reason we tune in is because we want to resonate with that same frequency. That our energy centers are off balance and they're not tuned in right. Think of a guitar. You take a guitar and you want to tune into that, you know, if you strum it, it's out of tune. You want to sit there and adjust it just a little bit to make sure that every note is just how it's supposed to be. Because if one is just slightly off, it doesn't sound right. And same thing here, you want to kind of fine tune your energy center to kind of get it to that perfect frequency so it matches the frequency that's out in the universe. That means that it's good, you know, that's what you want. You can think of it a radio tuner. You know, you're trying to tune into 100.3, so you're going to tune into 100.3. But if you're at 100.1, you might get, you might kind of start hearing the music coming in a little bit, but not completely. You got to get it just right to that right frequency, because 100.3 is out there in the universe and 100.1 isn't going to cut it. You got to get to 100.3. So same thing, you got to try to get your energy center vibrating at the same frequency that's out there in the universe, and they'll resonate together. That's just like the thing, I don't know if you've ever seen that video where the guy has a tuning fork and he tunes it like it's, let's say it's 410 megahertz or whatever it is, I don't know what it is. He tunes that, and then he has one the exact same frequency, and that vibration will go over to that one. But if he has a tuning fork at a different frequency, it won't vibrate. So if you are not tuned in right, you're not going to vibrate that same frequency that's out there that you're trying to tune into. So you want to tune in to where both of them are resonating at the exact same frequency. And then whenever he'll oftentimes talk about, not all the time, but some of them he'll talk about connecting 1, 2, 3. He'll go back through and connect them all together and harmonize. He uses that word harmonize. So same thing, think about a guitar. You know, you want to harmonize all those notes. If you have one of them out of tune, then it's going, you know, just doesn't quite sound right. So you want to harmonize all of those centers and make sure they're all tuned in so nice so they play beautiful music together and they just line up so nice and pretty. Another thing you can think of is that maybe they're off-centered a little bit, and you can think of trying to like push them back into the middle. You know, you could say, well, it's off a little bit. So say, you know, like a radio tuner, say it's just a little off to the side and this one's off to this side. But you want to tune in and you want to like get them all nice and straight like that. And I've noticed if any of you have the Kundalini energy going through you, I notice that I kind of spaz out a little bit if I'm trying to tune them in and they're not working. It's like the energy's trying to move and it's getting stuck in. I'm like jerking and different things like that. And then I get to a point to where it seems like they're all harmonized and I get that beautiful like snake-like movement going through my body, and then I just smile because I know that they're all in tune and just working really nice. So that's the biggest thing that you want to do, is just focus on those energy centers. Don't worry about if you can't feel them, if you can't feel movement through your body. Just put in your attention on each of the energy centers, moving up. Try to keep your mind off of anything else. Just focus truly on those energy centers and tuning in to the frequencies to balance them. And you may not get it right away. I know in the progressive workshop, he was saying something like people have healed themselves instantly after doing this. So I'm like, cool. And I do it and I'm like, where's my healing? You may not heal yourself on this one. You don't know when your healing will come. Your healing could come instantly. You could do a blessing and energy center. It could hit you, or you could just, for many stories I've heard, and this has kind of been me, I've had little bouts of healing, but I think it's just doing day and day and day and day. And it's just that fine tuning, that little bit of fine tuning every single day over time will start to get you better. Think about working out. You know, you're not going to go to the gym and like be like, oh, look, I got my big old muscles after one workout. You know, you're going to go every day and you're going to work out a little bit more. And then you're like, hey, look at that. You know, my muscles are getting bigger, you're getting stronger and everything. So it's kind of the same thing. You may not get that instantaneous healing or release. Sometimes you might. That depends on how close you get to source. But if you just keep doing it every day, you're going to keep fine-tuning it, and you're going to get stronger and stronger and strengthen those energy centers. And I guarantee you, over time, the more you do it and the more heart you put into it, the better it's going to get. And you're just going to start feeling better every single day. I can tell you from my own experience and from talking to other people. So I wish you the best of luck with this. Let me know if you have any questions below. You can make any kind of comments you want, likes and subscribe. So love you guys. Thank you for watching.